Okay, my YouTube people, this is a twin cam Dyna lowrider. I'm guessing the year is somewhere around 2009. This plug where the shifter shaft would normally come through is leaking. So I'm going to pull the outer primary off and then see why that is. And if I have to, just put a little RTV behind it to stop it. First thing I did was take this 5/8 drain bolt out of the bottom of the primary. It has a magnet on it, so you want to make sure you clean that magnet off. Somebody did put Never-Seez on it, and it has an O-ring on it, so generally want to replace the O-ring if you can. You can see the oil's draining out. This is pretty dark. It's probably been a while since this was changed, but thankfully there was basically no metal on the plug. Next thing I'm going to do is take off all the Allen bolts that hold the outer primary on. It had little caps on them which I took off. Look like they have clear RTV that hold most of those on. The other thing is it has some kind of dress-up cover right here that I'll have to take off. Okay. These two bolts were different. This one's really long, and it looks like it's stainless, along with this one. And then this one and this one are factory. Now this cover's loose and comes right off. This cover is loose. I'll just set that back in there. I don't need to take that out. Now I'll just take out the rest of the bolts. Okay, now the cover should come off no problem. And there it is. The issue with this cover is here's where the shift shaft come through. It did have this washer on it, but it wasn't really doing anything. Also, I found a few loose screws to hold this cover in. So I'm just going to put a little RTV down in that to stop it from leaking. And then this will be good to go. I get rag with some brake clean. This is always the first thing I do. Make sure the RTV will stick and make sure to clean that out real good. And that'll take care of that. And also take the rag with the brake clean and go around the edge where the gasket's going to be and make sure that that's clean and flat. Make sure it doesn't have any burrs sticking up that'll cause it not to seal. That looks good. I'll also take my time, clean around here with the rag and the brake clean, just like I did the outer primary. Now for this, I'm going to use the high temperature red RTV. Not really going to get technical about this since it's just a blind hole. Just make sure to fill it. I'm also going to cover the edge here where that washer goes. I'll put the washer on. Now I'll let that set up a little bit before I put the cover back on. I also have brake clean on this rag. I'll just clean where the other side of that gasket goes to. I'm going to use this Kinetic primary gasket. This fits 06 to 17 Dynas and 07 to 017 Softails. It's 60 thousandths of an inch thick. The part number is 0934-1205. Part number EC10560, engine case gasket. Another thing that makes this job 100 times easier is I have two pieces of all thread that I cut down, and then I just screw them into a couple spots on this cover, and that'll hold the gasket for me, and it holds the cover while I'm putting it on. I only put it in a couple threads. You don't need much. Then it makes putting this cover on 100 times easier because you just line it up on the all thread and then push it right on there. Now I just get one of the bolts and put them in, and I just put that in enough to hold the cover. Now I'm going to take this piece of all thread out and I'll put the bolt in for here. Now I'll put one in for here. And I'll take this piece of all thread out. Now I'll line this cover up, and I'll line this other cover up, and it has a stud that goes on in the back there first. It comes down like that. In the Harley manual it says primary cover screws 108 to 120 inch-pounds. Also, you want to go in a crisscrossing pattern, working your way out. I'm going to start at 85 inch-pounds. Okay, just realize I have to pull this cover off in order to torque this one. So I'm going to take this one and this one off, and I'll go straight to my final torque on this one. This one I'm just going to go straight to 115. And then this one here, I'm going to go to 115. Okay, now I'll put the cover back on. Okay, check back in when I'm done. Now I'm going to bring them all up to 115 inch-pounds, and we'll check back in when I'm done. I forgot to take video of taking the derby cover off. It takes a T25 Torx bit. Before I put oil in it, I put the drain plug in, and now just give that a tighten. Now I'm going to use the Motor Factory and its primary chain case lubricant. Anytime I'm working with stuff like this, I like to dust it off, make sure I get the dirt off of it so it doesn't end up in the chain case or anywhere else. Just give everything a good wipe down, make sure it's clean for the gasket. Made sure to clean my gasket surface on my derby cover. Part number on that gasket for the derby cover, 25416-99C. And this obviously goes towards the clutch. Again, for this, I just put my piece of all thread in. Just a couple threads is all you need. Put my derby cover on. Start one of the screws. You want to make sure they have the washer on them. Take my all thread out. I forgot to mention that I put a little thread locker on these, and now I'm going to torque them to 110 inch-pounds. I'm doing this in a star pattern. Now I just go around and double check them. Okay, and that finishes that up. That's how you replace the primary cover gasket and also seal up this shifter hole. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe.